order. Today is March 17, 2014. We start with the invocation by Pastor Tom Boomershine, Central United Methodist Church.
Let's pray. My Lord Jesus, you once said, whenever two or more gather in your name, you are present. You could just as easily have said, whenever two or more gather, there are politics. Maybe that's why we need you present. The reason for this is that politics and governance is the primary means through which we negotiate how to share limited resources, how we work together to improve our lives and make sure that everybody is able to experience the best of life. And so it is that I ask that you bless this body that we have elected to represent us, that they really might have a share of your wisdom and direction, that they might represent well all of the interests of this city and every person of this town, from those who are most connected to those who are least connected and most vulnerable and therefore in most need of representing. May all have a voice at the table. May the deliberations and discussions today really work toward the best in all of us and the best for each of us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Caligari.
Here.
Jimenez.
Here.
Moore. Here. Van Zetten.
Yes.
First Day.
Here.
Walling.
Here.
Yates.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're included in the current agenda. The community is encouraged to come and speak before the mayor and the city council. Asked to keep statements brief. Any questions are to be asked of the city staff, council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council. So that way the concerns can be properly researched and answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. Is there anyone who would care to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item number 5 is the consent agenda. We have various minutes and reports. I think we've got a couple of beer permits in here and a waiver of approving the final plat for the Hardy subdivision and a request to waive the preliminary plat. So with that in mind, do we have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Caligari.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes.
First Day.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Okay, moving on to item 6A is to consider, we have on the agenda a request from Miranda Cummings regarding blue zones. She, in fact, will be coming here on April 7th, and so we'll move on from there. The next item B is to consider an appointment to the Civil Service Commission. The term of Jacob Heiser on the Civil Service Commission ends on March 31st of 2014. Mr. Heiser has indicated a willingness to accept reappointment to the commission. Applications have also been received from Matt Monavon and Robert Hubble. Appointments to the Civil Service Commission are for 4 years and are made by the mayor with city council approval. It's a 3-member board with 3 males currently serving. And so I would recommend Jacob Heiser for reappointment. Do we have support from that? Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caligari.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes.
First Day.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Number C is to consider appointment of Janelle Campbell to the Historic Preservation Commission. That completes an unexpired term that ends on December 31st of 2014. James Hansen has resigned from the Historic Preservation Commission in February. Application was received from Janelle Campbell. It's a 7-member board, currently 1 male and 5 females serving on the commission. Appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission are made by the City Council. So is there anyone who would care to make a motion?
Second.
Okay. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Caligari.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D, consider a resolution approving the award of contract for the First Avenue East Sidewalk Project to Stevens Concrete Incorporated. It's an amount not to exceed $94,478 and authorize the city manager to utilize an additional 10% for the project contingency. The First Avenue East Sidewalk Project was advertised for improvements on First Avenue East and North 2nd Street. Scope of the project includes new 10-foot wide concrete sidewalk, ADA ramps, new curb and gutter, composite pavement, new street lights with underground electric connections, intakes, storm drains, and other miscellaneous improvements along the north side of First Avenue East from North 1st Street to North 2nd Street and along the west side of North 2nd Street from First Avenue East to the Law Enforcement Center parking lot. Bids were received and publicly read on February 12 of 2014. 4 contractors responding. The low bidder was Stevens Concrete, as indicated in the attached tabulation of bids. And as I mentioned, the total base bid, $94,478. Low bid received is within the budget estimates. Adopting staff's recommendations authorizes the staff to utilize 10% of the contract amount, that is $9,500, as a construction contingency for unforeseen circumstances. The contractor will, however, need to submit a change order if the city council approval if they exceed the contract price of $94,478. If the project is awarded, construction would be proposed to commence from April to May, depending on the weather, and anticipated work completion would be about 30 days. The construction cost, $94,478, and the design cost of $30,600 brings the total project cost to $125,078. Total cost of the project is to be shared by the city and the property owners. City share is approximately $82,788, and that covers the new curb and gutter, the street lights, the ADA ramps, and the pavement. The property owner's share would be about $42,290, and that's for the new sidewalk and any necessary improvements beneath the sidewalk. All property owners paid their share of the costs, so staff is presenting a resolution to the City Council to award and approve the contract with Stevens Concrete. There will be an additional cost to the city in the amount of $11,372 to install 4 new street light poles that are the same type as the existing poles in the downtown area. This will bring the total cost of the city's share to $94,160, which would be within the budgeted amount. So do we have a motion of support for this resolution? Okay, any discussion?
A couple questions. In looking at the itemized lines, line 20, the abandoned rooms under the walks, there was quite a spread between the low bid and the high bid. Does that become our problem if they find more hidden treasures?
No, that would be the property owner's responsibility.
Okay, even though there's a line item on it?
That was just their estimated cost, correct?
Yeah, okay.
Something that we could provide the property owner.
We had some discussions about that because I was aware, I know that the water meter pit is under there for the bank, but other than that, I don't know of any under those sidewalks, but that doesn't mean there aren't any, so I...
Right. Yeah, I think staff and the engineer, they try to do as much due diligence with the property owners to see if they could find anything, and they believe that they have, but like you said, you never know until you open up the ground.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor, just want to make sure is everybody knows that the additional cost for the lights, again, we did some research for our council. If everybody's good with that, we'd like to match up the lighting if that's acceptable with all of you.
Yep. Because it wasn't part of the...
Yeah, correct.
And just to add, Mike, the cost of the street lighting is not the part of the project. It's part of the contract with Stevens Concrete. That'll be a separate cost.
So it is not part of the contract. It'd be a separate bill. Yeah, the light.
It's not going through Stevens, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We would purchase that.
It's going to that vendor.
Right.
Okay.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Caligari.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Takes us to item E. Consider a resolution to approve the contract and bond for the First Avenue East Sidewalk project to Stevens Concrete. Gardner and Associates provided the city with the construction contracts and bonds for the First Avenue East Sidewalk project, which has been executed by the contractor. This resolution would authorize and direct the mayor and city clerk to execute the contract and bond. If the project is awarded, construction is proposed to commence from April to May, depending on weather. Anticipated work completion time, 30 working days. The low bidder for this project, Stevens Concrete, with a total bid of $94,478. This low bid is within the budget estimates. So do we have a motion to approve a resolution awarding the project to Stevens Concrete?
Yes.
Second.
Second.
One way to say it.
Either way.
Any comments? Roll call, please.
Van Zetten,
Yes.
Versteg,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
Jimenez, Moore,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Takes us to item F. This is to consider a resolution authorizing staff to submit a grant application with the Mahaska County Community Foundation to provide funding for a speed radar traffic sign. The OPD would like to purchase 2 speed radar traffic signs, one paid for by the city of Oskaloosa and one through this grant. These signs are portable, which allows us to place them in strategic locations in the city, including school zones and other problem areas within the city. The signs serve a dual purpose. First of all, they're a speed radar sign, so they'll flash if a vehicle is going beyond the posted speed limit and alert the driver. And second, they will collect all vehicle data that pass by the signs, including the speed, the time of day, and the number of vehicles that pass, providing us with decision-making data. They are also considered traffic calming devices, with many studies proving that these devices save lives, reduce accidents, collisions, noise, vibration, pollution, and crime. Drivers see the signs, slow down, and make the neighborhood safer, more pleasant, and more livable. So staff is requesting permission from the City Council to proceed with the grant application, as well as designating Chief McGee as the staff member responsible for administering the grant on behalf of the city. So we have a motion of support for that.
So moved. Second.
Okay, discussion.
Are we only moving to say they can do the grant, or are we moving to buy them?
I'd say the grant only.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the budget includes the purchase of one of these speed signs, and then the intent was to ask the Mahaska Community or County Community Foundation for the other one to match it so that we could have 2.
So we pay for one and they pay for the other.
Correct.
But is Jake got that in his budget, so it's already a done deal,
Yeah.
or we're going to talk about buying it later?
He has one in his budget right now.
Okay.
It's 2. I believe there's 2 in the budget, actually.
There is 2, however, again,
Yep.
we anticipated that there would be only one. And given some of the turnover in staff that we're having in the police department, we're going to need all the funds that we can get for other purposes, not for that particular item.
Okay, so I'll ask the question, Jake.
Yep.
Why do we need 2? We don't have any, but we're going for 2. Could one?
Well, I'd like to put them in the school zones, have them at 2 different school zones. They're portable, they can be moved. They weigh about 25 pounds. We're going to buy some extra brackets for poles that we can move them. Like I said, it'd be nice, there's a lot of discussion on, with
This is
C
somewhat
Avenue.
different than what we borrowed from the sheriff's
Absolutely.
department
This is
on the trailer.
Absolutely. This will be mounted on a pole.
Okay.
It's 23 by 29 inches. Like I said, weighs 25 pounds.
Oh, okay.
It's operated. It's battery operated. The batteries last up to four weeks.
I think one of the things that we'd want to point out is this type of approach is a little bit different than what we were able to ascertain from the county's trailer. And we appreciate the sheriff's office allowing us to utilize that, but that equipment is dated and it needs some updating, and so we weren't able to get traffic counts, some of the data that we would really like to see.
That's some of the data we looked at, Aaron, in the committee, that we have to pay dearly get it from Ames. Yeah.
Okay. So would the data coming off of these be able to be used in discussions with Iowa DOT when it comes to signaling? I know there's been some conversation about
They
some
have specific
intersections.
requirements for how that data is collected, and that does not match.
Okay.
No.
They want the city to spend the $35,000.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you blew that right out of the water. I was already excited for 5 seconds.
Yeah,
I thought
sorry.
we could do that, you know.
I'm pretty good at that.
Well, that won't work.
He's a fun hater. I can tell you.
Nickname Buzzkill.
We won't be issuing any tickets off this? This isn't the beginning of red light cameras or anything like that?
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So if this grant is denied, we're still going to get one, right?
We still have the authors in the budget. There's
in
money
the budget, I mean.
for more than one, but I really, given some of the things that have happened in the police department, we really anticipated just purchasing the one.
And we can apply for the grant, maybe we'll get the second one for nothing.
Right.
Not nothing, but
Well, it's worth a shot.
someone else's dollar will spend to buy it.
Casino money.
There you go. Okay. Any other comments
But it is.
before we start talking about casinos? Roll call, please.
Versteg.
Yes.
Walling. Caligari.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes. Okay, that passes. That was close. Okay.
Casino passed, is that right?
It passed, yes, right. Next one is resolution authorizing staff to submit a grant application with Mahaska County Community Foundation to provide funding for Edmondson Park Disc Golf Course improvements. City of Oskaloosa Parks Department wants to make several improvements to Edmondson Park Disc Golf Course with the support of a grant from MCCF. The Edmondson Park Disc Golf Course continues to be a busy site for recreation each summer. The course brings in both locals and out-of-town players to play the beautiful 18-hole course that gently rolls through the park. The course is currently in need of updating in order to keep its status as a prominent and challenging course. The Edmondson Park Disc Golf Course provides an inexpensive recreational option for the community. Staff is requesting permission from the City Council to proceed with the grant application, as well as designating Dylan Mulfinger as the staff member responsible for administering the grant on behalf of the city. Do you have a motion supporting that?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
3
Discussion?
seconds.
Yeah, I
3
know.
seconds.
In this case, I noticed we did Jake for the traffic stuff. Do we have to say somebody's responsible for it?
Yeah, and right now, there's no department director outside of me being
Okay.
responsible for parks. So I'm letting him have that experience. He
And
can
I'm
run with it.
just to know, if Dylan wasn't here, that's not a problem, right? I mean, it's a formality.
Oh, it's just in name, yeah, I would
okay.
end up
Thank you.
administering it, or another staff member would. It'd fall on someone.
It's needed. It was busy out there this weekend.
Oh, my God,
Disc
yes.
golf was-
I bet there's about 50 out there playing.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that we oftentimes overlook in the Edmondson Golf Course, and as you can see when we start writing these grant applications, we put it, lay it on there thick.
Template rolling.
But I think one of the things that we've learned through this process, and Dylan has makes sure that I understand, is there are events that occur on a regional basis here, and I think last week specifically.
This weekend they had a tournament that brought in over 100 people.
Yeah.
They hosted one last
Something
year.
going on out there because it was full.
So it's obviously an active part of our community, and oftentimes it may get overlooked. And this goes back to our budget discussions about trying to anticipate taking care of what we already have, and spending a little more money. Now, I say that, and then I want to make sure you know there's $0 in the budget for any of these improvements. So that's why this grant is being sought, because we do desperately need some improvements to keep this an attractive and usable facility.
I thought we had 15,000 put into parks this year.
There's a lot more put into parks for maintenance, but there was an additional 15,000 put in for additional upkeep, not anything
But that's not a
specific.
part of this then?
I was not earmarking that for disc golf. There are other active needs.
All right.
Other thoughts or comments? Roll call, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Caligari.
Yes.
Jimenez. Moore.
Yes.
Van Zetten.
Yes.
Versteg.
Okay, that passes. Item H is consider a resolution authorizing staff to submit a grant application with Mahaska County Community Foundation to provide funding for a fixed route transit bus system. Oskaloosa Rides is a community-driven concept that includes establishing a fixed-route bus system to serve the residents of Oskaloosa. At this point in time, the bus is anticipated to operate on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. However, this could change upon ridership demand and/or additional funding received from community partners. The hour-long route would make stops in places where people would either need to go, such as Walmart, Mahaska Health Partnership, or the downtown, or where people in need would likely live. Since the city is a nonprofit entity and has helped facilitate conversations within the community on this project, it's recommended that the city would take the lead on applying for the Mahaska County Community Foundation grant. Submittal of this grant does not require any direct contributions from the city and is anticipated to help provide seed money to get the project underway. Staff is requesting permission from the City Council to proceed with the grant application, as well as designating Dylan Mulfinger as the staff member responsible for administering the grant on behalf of the city. Do you have a motion of support for that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
To get this to 5 days a week, we can do that later, right? You're just starting the grant process. We just got to hit a certain number to get to 5 days a week. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
When you say a certain number, you're talking about fundraising from
Yes,
the private entities.
community, yes.
Yeah.
I've heard different bits and pieces of this from all sorts of different people, so
Yeah, I think
I really don't have a clear vision of it, and I'm not sure if you really did either at the time. I think it just kind of got dumped on everybody's lap. I went, hey, what a great idea. And I think you're just still trying to flush it out. So
We're still working with 1015 on a lot of the
yeah, I'm hearing
information, so.
if we can get it to 5 days a week, I think we can raise the money with it, so privately.
Okay.
Did the county have something to do with it?
We had a
county
supervisor on the board.
is on the 1015 board, Mark Dolan.
But not from a monetary standpoint.
No. No, and again, this is the idea behind this is it's a pilot program for 2 years. The DOT there's funding out there that could help with the funding. And then once that 2-year period goes away, the DOT's money goes away, but then federal funds should kick in. But that doesn't mean it'll necessarily be funded at the level that it's being funded at by the DOT. So there could be a bigger delta in that funding gap, which would require either larger contributions from the private sector or the public, or the taxpayers through the city of Oskaloosa. So that's to be seen, but I think the idea is that we give this project a chance. As Dylan has mentioned, it may not be a bad idea to take a risk every now and then and see if there really is a need for this.
And if I saw those numbers right, it's 80% first year, 70% second, and you're saying the delta on year 3 could be 50, 40?
Depends on ridership. If no one rides it, then we don't get money. So basically, the idea is that you get funding based on the number of people that ride the route.
So you get 2 years, and
so we're trying to build up ridership, and then by the time the DOT walks away from it, you should have a good idea of how many people you have and what your funding should be. So we'll be having an interesting conversation come, before the time period where the DOT funding ends.
Well, we can't walk away from it.
Nothing says that the city's obligated to do so, other than what political pressures you might feel as a council member.
If you don't have ridership,
Well, yeah, right.
treatment for that.
which is why I think 5 days a week is going to give us our best chance. It really established. Try it for 2 years. If it doesn't work, then cut the program.
And I think that's something that the group is talking about. Again, Dylan's been more involved than I have. I've been trying to kind of stay informed on it, but from my interactions so far, let's see what type of fundraising can be done privately with the public. And then we are very happy to report back to you any differences that might exist on being able to get it from a 3 to 5 day. And if you as council want to direct us to provide that additional funding, so be it. We don't have that in the budget, because I think at this point you had suggested, I think $5,000 or $10,000, $5,000 I think it was at the most, would go towards that. And we're talking significantly more than $5,000 if you jump it from 3 to 5 days.
In the 2 plans that I saw, it was pretty shady between the 3 and 5 day. There was a significant jump, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me why that jump was there. I think that can go back and be renegotiated, and I think really a lot of this money can come privately. I've talked to a lot of people that think this is a good idea, so I think there's a lot of companies that are willing to chip in to try this out. So I'm trying, I've been recommended by people that have done this that say get it to 5 days, go get the funding. I think we can do it privately now. There was a pretty big jump, and it didn't seem to make sense with anybody in the room when we were looking at it, what that jump was. So I think we can renegotiate that and then raise the money privately. So.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Caligari?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Van Zetten?
Yes.
Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item number 7, reports from city staff. City manager, anything?
Nothing in particular, Mayor, Council. Just would let you know that we've had some pretty light agendas. However, we've got a number of items queuing up for either project committee, subcommittee meetings, or work sessions. I'll work on getting that list out to you here in the next 2 weeks. But we have a lot of big projects coming our way. As I sent you an email last Friday, the housing project, the Section 42 housing project, reserves at Ironwood, that project was approved by the Iowa Finance Authority. And with that project comes additional work and consideration by you as a council, and specifically for tax increment financing contributions. So that in itself will lead to more work and more hours required by us as staff, but should be a great project for the community, great for the west side of Oskaloosa to see that new development come in. So just wanted to let you know it's been relatively calm and easy for all of you, but it will pick up. We're having a number of items for you here soon.
So we're going to have a work session on that? Or?
There's going to be work sessions, regular agenda items, tax increment.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay. City clerk? Okay. City attorney, anything?
Nothing at this point. Obviously, I've got something in closed session here in a moment.
Okay. Individual council members. Joe, start with you.
Nothing.
Okay. Aaron?
Nothing.
No, thank you.
Nothing, sir.
Tom?
Guess not.
No? Okay. We've got nothing to add to that. So at this time, let's see, next item then is to, let's go on. Okay. Consider holding a closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.5.1C to discuss strategy with counsel on a matter presently in litigation or in which litigation is imminent, where disclosure would likely be to prejudice or disadvantage the city's position. So do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Move.
Okay, discussion, roll call.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Moore?
Yep.
Van Zetten?
Yes.
Versteg?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Caligari?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We'll go into closed session at this time. Thank you very much for being here. We'll ask the audience to leave at this time. Okay, we're back into open session. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.